Hi, David Schoen here. Yep, me, Green Eyes. Anyway, my discussion today is, I need a haircut, and this is after combing it. You can't comb it here. You need some kind of gel or something. Anyway, my comments today are about schizophrenic and mentally ill people, and I'm kind of upset that when I read the Bible and God's law, I didn't see any compensation to the mentally ill. Jehovah allowed them and wanted them to work. Even the Apostle Paul said, "I desire all to work. I give you this command that you work with your hands and stuff." But that's not fair to schizophrenic people. How can the schizophrenic people compete against all the people out in the marketplace or something, or on the job, right? But the schizophrenic person working with a non-schizophrenic person, a normal person. Yeah, let normal people work. That's what I say. That's what the government says too. The government allows schizophrenic people to not have to work with other people. There's no requirement. And that's me. I don't want to work with other people. I'm working at McDonald's, and the bosses kept taking the French fries out and emptying them, and telling me, "No, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it." And he hands me the French fries. It looks just the same. He put the same amount of French fries in it. I want to take his head and put it in the boiling oil, the hot oil. I had the desire to do that to him. See, and schizophrenic, it's harder for us to control what we do. Did you know that? It's harder for us not to do bad to those kind of bad people. How could I compete with a person that's not schizophrenic? I can't verbally protect myself. I don't have the magical kind of words and stuff. I don't have the gift of gab to protect myself in a working environment. That's not fair that the Apostle Paul commanded all men to work hard with their hands. And he should have made some kind of exceptions for mentally ill people, right? Yeah, I'm only partial schizophrenic. But still, can you picture me driving a Class A truck down the road, being partially schizophrenic? Thankfully, I don't have to do that, since I cannot drive a truck down the road. I even lost my Class A license. I had it. Why? Because I have diabetes and schizophrenic. So my medicine on schizophrenic medicine, I'm not allowed to drive a tractor trailer or a Class B truck. I'm allowed to drive a car, but not those big vehicles. It's a good thing that the government made those kinds of decisions. But the government here in the United States, though it's the false prophet of the Revelation, it brings fire down from heaven and kills people in the sight of all, meaning that they filmed it. Yeah, they filmed their own sin. Well, why didn't the government cover over what they did? But no, they made their sin known to the world. Oh, that's another story. The good part about this government is that they take care of people with Social Security benefits. People like me who want to take the boss and put his head in the hot oil. Yeah, I had that. I admit it. But I'm going to have the same feelings toward another boss who allows a person that's normal to claim the work that I did. If I do some work, he could say to the boss, "Oh, I did that work, not him." Right? He could claim my work, and I won't have the mental capacity to defend myself without. If I don't have the mental capacity to protect myself mentally and verbally, I will resort to bodily, physical violence against those people. That's why schizophrenics are violent, because they can't protect themselves verbally. So their violence is that they resort to violence, because this world doesn't make allowances for their faults, their mental errors and faults. Oh no, you gotta work for money just like the rest of us. You always hear that. You gotta pay taxes like the rest of us. But they say that you gotta pay taxes like the rest of us, but they don't want us working with them. These people at Lake Compound said, "Oh, the Puerto Ricans on welfare and not working, trying to avoid work." And I asked them, "Well, do you want to work with them?" They didn't say a thing. They had no answer for that, right? They did not want to work with the Puerto Ricans they were accusing of being lazy. Right? See, they were racist and against other races. They didn't want to work with other races. Now, these were all Polish men. I had serious problem with them because I wasn't Polish. In fact, when I was sick, they hired a Polish driver to take my place. And he backed up into a building. He caused over $4,000 damage. There is a God. There is a God. He protected me because he was going to get my job, right? They were going to find a way to fire me, being schizophrenic back then. I didn't know I was schizophrenic back then in 2007. But they were going to fire me because I wasn't Polish. And because I stuck up for other races that they hated. Those Polish men hated other races. Not all Polish people. But those ones at Lake Compound amusement park, they definitely hated other races and other people, including me. They only hired me because they couldn't find, at the time, a Polish truck driver. At the time, they couldn't find one. But when they found one, they put him on our crew. We used to mow the lawns and stuff like that and take out the trash. But they needed a trash truck driver, which was a Class B license. And I was the only one available to do that. So they hired me. Though they didn't want to hire me because I wasn't Polish. Yeah, it's not racialism, it's nationalism. But it's still a prejudice against me. But they also had prejudice against me because I started hollering out things, going whenever I was under stress. My mind just started hollering out complaints and this and that and crazy stuff. I looked crazy, and that's called my schizophrenia. That's how I found out I was schizophrenic, by the way. I didn't believe it, though, even though my two younger brothers were schizophrenic and my older brother were schizophrenic. Then I got schizophrenic, SSI. Then my sister got SSI. She wasn't getting it because they kept denying her schizophrenic benefits because they would ask her if she was a harm to other people, and she would say, "No, I'm not in any way harm to other people." When she was driving mentally ill people around and handicapped people around in a car. And I asked her, in a van, a big van, I asked her, well, when you're driving the van around, are you talking to yourself? Are you having visions in your head of not driving? You're driving and you're thinking of other things, right? And they're popping up into your head, several at the same time. And you're not concentrating on your driving. So are you a risk according to your safety meetings? Because you got a Class B license. You have safety meetings. In your safety meetings, do they talk about distractions while you're driving? Are you distracted when you're driving? Then you're endangering those people's lives. You're endangering anybody on the road life. Which doesn't happen to me if I'm driving a car. But it did happen to me while I was under the great stress of being a Class A driver over the road. Yeah. I was flipping out, and I was yelling and hollering, and I was while I'm driving, I'm in front of a judge, and there's a jury there, and I'm being persecuted, and I'm being attacked. People are bringing up false accusations against me, and it's not even happening. It wasn't even happening. And then I heard a horn honk, and I look over, and I pushed a bus full of people out onto the green grass, the median, because I was not aware that I was driving a truck for I don't even know how long it took for that bus to start beeping the horn at me. I didn't want to tell the company that happened, but that is why I surrendered my Class A license for a Class C license. I would never do that, but because of that circumstance and because of my diabetes, I surrendered my Class A license. It was the right thing to do. It was the loving thing to do. It was the considerate thing to do. Even though I'm a preacher of righteousness and I know a lot in the Bible and everything, I even forgot why I started doing this video in the first place. I don't remember. But I do remember crazy stuff happening at a Kingdom Hall. Yeah, even the true religion, believe it or not, the true religion can be the true religion and have bad people in it. For instance, Judas Iscariot. He was one of the 12. Yeah, because one of the 12 was a betrayer and betrayed the Lord Jesus Christ. That did not make that religion a false religion. Though people will point at what individual Jehovah Witnesses are doing and say, "Oh, look, they're a false religion. Look what they're doing." Well, look what Judas Iscariot did. Huh? How about the Apostle Paul? The Apostle Paul mentioned that he had been persecuted right in the congregations by false brothers. There was false brothers in there. There was apostates within the organization. Didn't they say, "We are forewarning you ahead of time that false brothers, apostates will come into the organization and they will not treat the organization kindly"? See, there would be a great darkness within the true religion. A true religion would be taken over by false apostates and that. Okay? That's when the crosses started appearing, and the three gods are one. The Trinity came late. The Trinity wasn't taught by Apostle Peter, Paul. Peter and Paul, they didn't wear crosses around their neck. This came later. This is the great apostasy. In fact, one of the greatest apostasies of all came from the emperor of Rome. His name was Constantine. He worshipped this pagan god called Tammuz. And his mother was attending the weak Roman congregation. They were a weak, apostate version of true Christianity. A lot of bad stuff crept in, and they had all kinds of false doctrines in there. And he joined it, and he corrupted it even more. He brought his false god Tammuz, the cross god, into Christianity. He did that. He's personally the one who brought crosses into Christianity. See, Christianity did not have crosses in it. The word cross didn't appear in the Bible until Constantine enforced it. He said to burn all Bibles that do not contain the word cross in it, and the crucifix. You are to replace the torture stake, the word torture stake, with cross, the word cross. You must pick up your cross and follow me, not pick up your torture stake. See, he decided to rewrite the Bible. The emperor of Rome, a pagan emperor of Rome, decided to rewrite the Bible and take Jehovah's name out and put Lord in it instead. Lord. Because why? Because Jesus is the Lord. Right? Jehovah is God, and if you put Lord where Jehovah is, people will start worshiping Jesus. Hey, that's what I want, said Roman emperor, pagan Roman emperor of Constantine. That's what I want. I want people to worship Jesus. I like Jesus. I don't like this God Jehovah who made all kinds of laws that I don't like. The Mosaic law. I don't like those laws, so I don't like this God Jehovah. Right? Jesus is a kind, merciful God. Yeah, Constantine was nothing like Jesus at all. He wasn't a merciful emperor. He killed and murdered people. He murdered the real Christians. He murdered all Christians in the Christian congregation of Rome and all the other congregations that wouldn't accept his word cross. His Trinity doctrine that he adopted from the pagans, because he was involved in paganism. He brought his paganism into Christianity and mixed it. And he enforced it with death. Yeah. The Emperor of Rome, Constantine, he enforced with the threat of death to anyone who didn't accept his teaching of the Bible. And he rewrote the Bible in such a way that it looked like it came from God and not from him. He didn't want people to say, "Oh, that's Constantine's doctrine." He didn't want people to say, he wanted people to say, "Oh, that's coming from the Bible," when it wasn't coming from the Bible. And people today read the Bible and they don't read the revised version by Jehovah's Witnesses, who removed the word cross and removed the word Lord and put Jehovah back. We put Jehovah's name back in there 7,000 something times. We removed the word cross because it never was in there, and we investigated all the early Christian writings, and there was no word cross there. It was wood or crucifix. No, it wasn't crucifix. Sorry. See, I'm imperfect. All right. The word torture stake. He removed it. Constantine did that. You could take that to the bank.